Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the flight deck. We are back in Japan, continuing our tour and heading south. We're going to be leaving Amami and heading down to Naha, which is the capital of the Okinawa island and the region there. And we're going to be flying the ATR72-600 as we've been doing for this entire series. So let's hop on board and get her up and ready to go. All right, we're on board the aircraft. And we are good to do our cockpit preparations. Documents are all on board and everything is up and running. So that is completed. Gear lever is confirmed down. Parking brake is confirmed set. Will pop up now. Battery is on. External power, both AC and DC are on. Nav lights will come on along with the logo lights. We'll do the warning system check. There's our squib test. Fault and fire on engine 1, engine 2. Squib, fault, and fire test for engine 2. Prop brake is off. We're going to do a stand start and taxi straight off the stand, so the prop brake will remain off. Gust lock is in place. We'll get the signs on. There's the no devices, no smoke, or the seat belts, and the emergency exit lights are armed. Windshield anti-ice is armed. We're going to turn the dome light on to give us a little bit more light inside, and we can let the ramp agents know we're ready for boarding. Alright.
Boarding requested.
Alright, boarding is now underway. So time to set up the FMC and get everything set. Snacks are on board. They can close the service door, and we're going to pop down now. So initialization. We'll come into our position, we'll grab the GPS. It is now in, and the aircraft knows where it is. Nav data, no point checking it. We can't update it.
Is coming.
So over to the flight plan and into our route. I'm going to slightly modify it as we were looking at our approaches, but that's all good. So we are flying today from RJKA, which is Amami, and we're heading to ROAH, which is Naha and Okinawa. So I'll enter that in, and we will execute. All right, so that is in. Leaving Amami, we're going to be going off on runway 3. I'll just grab the weather, and we will throw it into the chat here. Winds are 340 at 2, 10 kilometers of visibility, no significant clouds, 13 degrees, 1020. So we're going to go off on runway 03, and we're going to be doing the Yuan 3 departure. And let me just check it out here. Where are we going to? Are we going all the way to ONC? We are. So we're going to go all the way to ONC. We will execute that, and there is our next set. So from ONC, just pulling up our plan. We are going to take the Alpha 582 airway from ONC2. Let's find it here. ONC. And we're going to take it as far as looking for the exit waypoint. Huh. HNC is where it should go to. I want to go to Okuma though. Let's just see here if that is on here. Interesting. So let me just pull up the chart here, and I'm going to go into the IFR chart. Should only be a couple down. Oh, there it is. NHC. Right. So we want Okuma, which it is not showing. This may be a result of maybe a one-way airway.
All right, next. Thank you.
It seems to be going the other direction. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back, we're going to return. We're just going to go manually put in waypoints. So after ONC, we're going to head to Lexus, LEXUS, as the next waypoint. And we will execute that. And then after Lexus, we're going to go to Okuma. Okay. Uniform Mike Alpha. And we'll execute that. And now from there, if we go into ROAH, we should be able to put in the approach. It is going to be the RNAV runway 18 left. RNAV 18 left. And we're going to go in on the wow, this information is really outdated here. Should be the Resorn. There it is. Resor N. And we're going in at Kokol. Okay. That's it there. So that should bring us in. And we can clear out that disco. And then there's Cliff Cocoon. Alright, that is looking good and correct there. Alright, so we've got that in there. We can come over to our flight plan over here. And we are looking good there. So back to the menu. Initialization flight plan is in. We can do our weight and balance now. Had to do some minor changes there. Again, it looks like that's a one-way airway, but SimBrief put us on it, so we just went a little bit manually. It's not what I want. I want briefing. So for our zero fuel weight today, we have a zero fuel weight of 39238. enter that in. It's not allowing. Why is that not allowing? Oh, I see why. Let's convert that into kilograms. Better. 17,798. And our fuel on board for today is going to be 2,262 kilograms. And our reserve fuel for today will be 390 kilograms. All right, we are set there. That's our weight, performance, initialization, and we can set that in. We're going up to 18,000 feet today as we cruise in a southwesterly direction. And our alternate for today's flight is going to be ROIG. And we will be at 10,000 feet if we have to go there. And that is entered in. And transition altitude here in Japan should be 14,000 feet. I'll do a quick check. 14,000 feet is correct, and that is now entered in. All right. So that is that information in. And just pulling up our charts. And we are good to carry on. So we're going to get our clearance. We are here alone. We're on VATSIM, but there is no controllers up at the moment. So we're going to set ourselves up here manually. So 122.8 goes in on radio 1, and 121.5 will go in on radio 2 if I select it. And that is our guard channel and our active. For our nav, we're going to dial in our departure airport, and I will show you our route in a second here. Sounds like they're loading bags in the back at the moment. We're going to put in
ready
the
to go when you are.
cabin's ready. 113.95. So
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. This is
113.95
your flight attendant speaking. At this time,
is
please
now
be sure
entered
to
in.
ensure all
We'll
large
monitor
carry-on
that
items are in the
VOR
overhead bins and your small items
on
are
our
in the
departure.
in front of you. If you have
And we'll
any
leave the other
trouble or
one
need any
on
assistance,
auto
please don't
seeking.
hesitate to let a flight attendant know, and he would be happy to help.
Actually,
If the
1155. We'll put
overhead
in
bin is
the
full after you put your carry-on inside
other one
it,
up on the
please
hill.
close the bin as a courtesy to other passengers. Once all your items are put away,
that
please
is
clear
now
the aisle
entered
and
in
sit
on
down
the
in your
other
seat
side.
to allow other passengers
ADFs,
to
we're not
find
going to worry
their
about
seats
at the
as well.
moment. We don't
If you
have.
are seated in an
Traffic will be
emergency
above.
exit row,
I'm going to be
please
on
leave the exit
terrain.
seating responsibilities in
And
the safety card in the
come
seat
over
back
now
in
to
front
there.
of you.
That is good.
Please make sure you are
Under
willing and
surveillance,
able
we'll
to
come
perform
in.
the actions
We'll set
required.
the
If you are not able or prefer
non-North
not to
American
perform these actions,
or
please let a
IFR
flight
code
attendant know so you can be received.
is in, and it
Feel free
is
to use
on
your cell phones during the rest
standby.
of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops,
And
tablets,
auto
and any
mode.
other larger electronic devices are stowed
Over
once you
here,
depart.
we're going to set
Thank you, and
weather,
welcome aboard.
and he is set for weather on his side. Okay, so we are good at the moment with all that up. So altimeters 1020. We'll make sure our barrel is
Good
set.
morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard flight 5556. Our flight time will be roughly 59 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large
is
devices
set.
are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray
Just waiting
tables
on the
and seat backs are in the full
final
upright lock
bags.
position
They're on the
for
last one
departure.
there, so
Flight
let's take a
attendants,
look at our
please
route
prepare cabin for departure and cross-check.
as we get ready to head out. So here's our route for today. We're going to be taking off to the north. We're going to leave the airport, make a right-hand turn out over the water, and we're going to head downwards along the island. We're going to be following a chain of islands as we head downwards, as you can see, down towards Okinawa here, where we're going to make a bit of a right turn and head out towards the intercept for the RNAV, coming in and landing in Naha, which is the big capital here at Okinawa. As you can see, a couple airports and the whole southern end of the island here is all occupied. So that's going to do it, and we have an airtime of approximately, let me just go check. Airtime for today's flight is 59 minutes. So it should be a decent flight. Not too long at cruise, we'll probably just be up and down. And as we continue to fly south, hopefully we may get a little bit of the sun cracking on the horizon. So just a couple bags to go, and we'll be good to carry on our startup. Clear the checklist off of there since we don't use it. That will be good. Again, we're sitting here on the ramp, again on VATSIM. First flight out of the day as we continue to head south. So when we take off, we'll come out of here, we'll wheel around, pick up the line, and then we'll head out on the line over here and taxi out. We're going to be taxiing down to this end. You can hear the water since we're right on the coast. And we'll be heading off to the north there. Alright, so that is everything in. We'll get the cargo door closed, wheel chocks removed, ground power is still connected for engine start. Alright, back up top, we can come over here now. We get the beacon lights and the wing lights are on so that they know we're about to fire up the aircraft. Left engine number 2, fuel pumps are now on. Starter's going to come over to start AB. Quick look outside, make sure we are clear, and we can start the engine. You can hear her start to fire up. And we'll add fuel.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the aircraft for a safety demonstration. When the seatbelt light is on, please make sure that your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another. Tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap.
Alright, she's up and running in FTR mode, so we're going to come up. Fuel pump number 1 is on. We're already on start. And we'll click on start for engine number 1.
Please take a few moments to now locate one of the several emergency exits
See if we
on
can get a
this
view of this
aircraft.
one. There we
In
go.
some cases, your nearest exit may be behind
Adding
you.
fuel.
In case of an emergency and we need to evacuate the aircraft, there is lighting on the floor that will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a loss of cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. Start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you, and place it firmly over your nose and mouth. Secure the elastic band behind the head and tighten the straps if necessary. And don't worry if the bag doesn't inflate. Oxygen is flowing to the mask, and you can breathe normally.
Alright, that's both
If you're
engines
traveling
up
with children,
and
now's the
going.
time to pick your favorite one. But secure your mask.
Fuel
and
quantities are
assist others. Keep
confirmed.
your mask on until a member of the crew
Clear
advises you
the
to take
checklist
your
there.
In the event that the pilot decides to take us for a swim, a fashionable life vest is located in a pouch underneath
Alright,
the
so
or
power
between the
management
armrest.
set to take
When
off.
instructed
Flight
to do so,
directors
open the
are
plastic
on
pouch
both
and remove the
sides.
vest.
Radios
Flip it
are
over your
set.
head.
Trim.
Strap the straps around your waist
We
and
want
buckle up the vest. Pull the strap
1.1
to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on
on
the
the
red
trim.
cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouthpieces for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Once again, all devices must be in airplane mode and your larger devices must be turned off and stowed at this time. Please securely stow your personal
There we go,
items.
1.1
Make sure
on the
your
trim
seatbelts
is
are fastened in
set.
seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking
Transponder
flight.
is set and on
Tampering with,
standby.
disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the
And
laboratory
everything is
prohibited
good
by
there. So
law.
popping up
All
top
this
with both
information can be
engines
found in
up
the
and
safety card
running
located
now.
in the
Hydraulic
seat back in front
power.
of you.
We're going to make
Read
sure
it and let a cabin
everything
member know if you have any
is
questions.
up and
Thanks for
going.
flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
We're good there. Both engines are running. We're going to disconnect the ground power now. We're going to get the faults until we bring the engines up to full power. Oxygen is on. And we're going to come down here now. We'll release the gust lock, and we're going to set our altitude of 18,000 feet. engines come up. And we're going to bring the engines up into ATR now, or into auto. And we'll hear them spool up as they come up. There's 18,000 feet set. We'll clear those checklists again. That's good. Anti-skid is good. Clear the caution. Flight controls are good. Engines are all looking good. So nav, ND systems come online. And 10 miles for myself. 20 miles for Roger on his side. And weather radar will go to standby. Autopilot we're going to set. We're going to go into VNAV or LNAV, and we're going to initially go vertical speed. And we're going to set that to 1,000 feet per minute. Alright, looks like we are ready to go. So we're going to bring on our taxi light on, wing and logo lights are on. De-ice is on. All engines are up, all bleeds are up. Pitot heats are on. And start selector mode will go to the off position. Quick check for anything. It's just going to be hydraulics and AC power. That'll all come on once we add a little bit of power. And we are good to go. So clear the caution. I'm going to edge up on the power. Until we get a little bit of buildup and the light should come on. Now we've cleared all the cautions up top, and we can see our lights are all on. Alright, we are good for taxi. Clear the checklist again. And we're going to be taxiing down to runway 03. Amami area traffic, Skyways 5556, taxiing runway 03 via P3 to holding point Tango 5. Alright, so manual brakes are set. Come off the main emergency brake and parking brake. Got a little bit of power. Oh, actually, before we do that, yeah, everything here is disconnected. Go back over to there. Gotta figure out what's holding us up here. Oh, stupid Bravo switch. That's fine. We'll bring her around. That dome light while we're here. There's the line we're going to. Airports here and down in Okinawa provided by FlightSim.to, freeware airports. Feel free to download, pick them up. We do a really good job on a lot of them.
Cabin lights will be dimmed for the departure and landing. If you require additional lighting, there's a reading light on the panel above you.
Okay, good. We're going to make a right turn here. Head down to 03. Again, the winds are really light, so we'll be good there. That's First Officer Molly there. Barking at the peoples out in the hallways. The kids are coming home from school. We'll get flaps 1 in. First notch of flaps for our takeoff. A little bit more power. I think we're going uphill slightly. We just got a couple legs to go on our tour of Japan here, and we will be done. So it's been a nice series. Wish we could have seen more sunrises. We did see some nice ones at the beginning, but time of year and everything, it's we're just a little bit early. Alright, we're coming up to the end of the runway. We'll bring her to a stop at the hold short line and do our final checks. Lights should be flashing on either side as the warning, but here we are. Alright, we are holding short, so it's a little bit abrupt there. Takeoff configuration, we come down here to our check. Takeoff configuration test is okay. Power management is set to takeoff. Speeds are in and checked. Altitude is 18,000 feet. We're going to be vertical speed of 10,000 and LNAV once we're up and on the autopilot. FCP is set, nav data has been checked, radios are all set. We are on 122.8. Transponder is now on. Fuel quantity is checked. And we're good to move out. So strobe lights will come on. Landing lights will come on. Taxi light, we'll leave it on. I find the landing lights are too dim. Transponder is on as mentioned, and that is good. Weather radar is now on as well. Both engines are in auto. Runway is identified. Now we'll take position. Amami traffic. Skyway is 5556. Take position. Runway is 03. I think that's the moon rising right in front of us there. It's pretty cool. A bloody crescent. Sliver of a moon. It is currently about 5 a.m. here in Japan, so a little early for the sun to rise in winter. Again, we keep hoping to see it when we come in for landing, but haven't quite got it yet. Here's the runway and the terminal. We'll get ourselves out, line up. know why it keeps defaulting to that. I think I need a new mouse. All right, we are set. Clock is running and we are good for takeoff. So looking down, we're going to bring the engines up into notch, which is 66% power. There they are, both engines are in. Amami area traffic, skyways 5556 departing, runway 03 on the Yuan 3 departure. Alright, brakes are released. Airspeed's alive. Our rotation speed is about 107 knots. 80 knots. V1 rotate. Ease are back to 10 degrees. There we go. Positive rate. Gear up. Engines into fine power. Nose down for 10 degrees. Autopilot on. Nav. Vertical speed. Go to an initial 10 degrees. And we're going to have to go heading mode. Get our doing the turn. It says it won't automatically do it. You got to kind of turn out yourself. So it's above 800 feet. It wants us to make the turn, which we're above 800 feet now. As soon as the speed's above 150, we can bring the flaps up. And we're going to bring the angle through to 240. And we'll arm LNAV to intercept. There's 150, so flaps up. I'm going to set a target speed of 170 for climb out. And when we get up to about 170, we'll hit indicated airspeed, and it will hold that for our departure. Little positive rate gear is up and confirmed up. Flaps and are retracted. Power management, we are in climb. Autopilot's on. Yaw damper is on. Set 170 now for our climb out. And with that, we can turn the logo lights, wing lights, and taxi lights off. Turning on course. We're going up to 18,000 feet. 173 miles, 175 miles roughly is the distance point to point for our flight today. And we're looking good. further on the range. You can see the islands here. We landed up at the northern tip. And we're not expecting any weather. The weather down in Okinawa is similar to what we have here. Just a couple knots of wind and no real clouds in the area. We're just about to make the turn to the next waypoint, and there we go. Not a lot to see. Again, it is pretty dark. Take a look out. There's the island and the roads. There's the airport. We're leaving it behind. And we're heading out into the dark. Well, a few clouds in the area, but nothing significant. There's the landing lights are still on. They'll be on until we pass through 10,000 feet. I know the darkness doesn't do well on YouTube. And again, this is a twin engine turboprop, carries, well, 72 people, and does not perform like the jets. That's why we're climbing up slowly. But again, it's just a regional aircraft, shorter hops. And we are going to see it again once we come off this tour of Japan. We'll be parking it for a while, but the ATR will be back probably in Europe at a future date. So if you like these shorter flights with the turboprops, we'll be seeing it again. Yeah, not a lot to see out there at the moment. We get a look there at the passenger window, but again, just the same thing. Not a lot to be seeing, and then the other side is just completely dark. And they did dim the lights for takeoff, that's for sure. Can't see a thing back there. Alright, we're going to be climbing through 10,000 feet shortly. And we're going to be climbing, what is the pressure down in? It's pretty close to what it is here, so we're going to go over to standard pressure. And we're going to be climbing straight through 14,000 feet. Just checking, and everything is looking good. Good temperature in the back, 22 degrees Celsius. Everything is good. No caution lights or warning lights, or as they say in the book, white lights for this aircraft. 9,000 feet, we're halfway to our cruise. It looks like the aircraft is saying we'll get there once we hit the other side of the next island. Of course, being such a short flight, we're not going to be at cruise for very long before we go look at heading downwards. That's all part of the fun. So we're going to auto-tune our beacons here. They can pick up what they need to pick up as we go. Get him auto-tuning on his side as well.
1,000 feet, you may now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated and do not congregate in the galleys or near the lavatory.
Alright, so landing lights are now off, and we can release the seatbelts in the back.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move about the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in case of unexpected turbulence.
So there's U1, the exit point of our departure. And we're just coming up on it now, and there we go. We got the flip. And we're now heading to ONC, which is our next waypoint. If we pop out, we can see our top of descent is just past Lexus. So not too far that we'll be flying at cruise level. So while we're climbing up, we're continuing to stream 6 days a week at the moment. We will be back tomorrow in our tour of Canada, flying out of St. John's, Newfoundland down to Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island in the 737-700. Wednesday, we're back in the U.S. Capital Series in the old de Havilland Canada -7. We're leaving Minneapolis, St. Paul, I believe, and I can't remember where we're heading, but that will be on Wednesday. Friday, we're back here in Japan for the next leg, and all these flights are going to be at 1930 hours Zulu through the week, Monday to Friday. And then Saturday, we're back in Canada again, leaving Charlottetown for the next destination. I believe it's Montreal. And that will be at 1400 Zulu. Then on Sunday, we're back in the 747-800 freighter flying down to Abu Dhabi from Edinburgh as we head to the last race of the 2003 season and complete our contract down there. We have one more flight after that. A week later, we'll be flying the aircraft home to our base in Stansted from there. So should be a good week of flying coming up. Hope you can come along and join us. If you are watching, leave a comment in the chat, and if you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment in the chat. I do answer the comments that pop up. If you want to know what we're flying and when, you can always fly along with us. We're on VATSIM for most of them. Sundays is multiplayer on the Northern Europe server, and you're more than welcome to come along and join us. You can find out on the Discord where we are flying to next, at what time, and the aircraft. I'll have the link pop up in the chat, but you can also find the link in the video description. So that's always an option there. So if you do enjoy what we do, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Helps us carry on promoting flight simming and all the good stuff that comes with it, and promoting the community, which is very important as well. That was Molly, jumped up and started barking. Again, hearing somebody out in the hallway. Coming up for 14,000 feet, 400 or 4,000 to go. Never flown on the ATR. I've flown the Dash 8, the 100s, 200s, and 100, 300s, 400s series of Dash 8s, but I haven't had the flown small commuter in Europe, which was mainly where these things fly, so it's a new one for me. Of course, the Dash 8 being kind of the one that's used in North America. Although I think there are a few ATR72s kicking around out here somewhere. about a 40 knot headwind blowing in from the right front, so that's slowing us down a little bit. Our ground speed's only 184, while our true airspeed is 213. So you can see how much that's slowing us. That's almost 30 knots slower across the ground than we could be doing. We'll pick that up to over 200 when we level off, as our airspeed will get up there, or indicated it'll get up around 200 anyway. Just taking a look out in the skies at the moment. Not a lot of people flying for Fly UK at the moment. There's myself out here in Japan. There's well, let's say he's done, and somebody else has filed for Manchester to London, but it's pretty quiet out here today. We're heading down to Romeo Oscar Alpha Hotel, which is Naha Airport in Okinawa. Only flight coming in or out of there this morning. And it's still pretty early. As we look around the skies, well, there's that moon, but not seeing any hints of sunrise yet, which would be off in this direction. There's 16.3, again on our way up to 18,000 feet. Take a look at our performance, what we're going to need for landing. Runway length is 10,000 feet. We only need 2,141, so no issues there. We're going to have an approach speed of 107. We do what we usually do, land around 110, and then as we come down to touchdown, we try to get her down to about 102, 103, which is a good reference speed. But everything else is looking good. We have 63 passengers on board heading down to Okinawa. If you've never been to Okinawa, I haven't. I've been to Japan, but up in the north. Never been down to Okinawa, but it's apparently like the Hawaii of Japan. It's a little bit more laid back, island type of attitude and stuff. Historically, it only joined Japan a couple hundred years ago. It was kind of an independent place for a while. There's 1,000 to go. There's 160 islands in Okinawa. And the main one is Okinawa, or Okinawa main island. Naha, again, being the capital. The greater Naha area is almost 800,000 residents. And the city itself is 320. And it is subtropical down there, so while you got the hot or the snowy weather up in the north, it can be pretty warm down in the south. So it looks like it was the early 1600s that the Japanese came down into the Okinawans and took over the islands. So they got quite the culture. I think the islands have said they've been populated for almost 3,000 years. So there we are. We're coming up to 18,000 feet. We're in alt capture. Our rate of climb is starting to come down, so our speed is going to start to increase. Come to level off. switch the engines now over into cruise power setting. And there's all capture, 18,000 feet. And we're good. And there's our top of descent, already showing about 70 miles away. So it's estimating we should have 1,458 kilograms of fuel on board when we land, which is fine. It's plenty of fuel. We're doing a 1-hour flight. We've got about 4 hours of fuel on board, so nothing really to worry about there. Ground speed's up to 207. Winds are shifting around down at Okinawa, but it's very, very light, so we're going to keep with the planned arrival that we have set up. We're at 213 knots.
In a few moments, we'll be starting our in-flight service. We'll be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for a list of complimentary premium drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. If you wish to make an additional purchase, we only accept credit cards.
So we're coming up over another one of the islands here. Again, not sure if we're going to see anything. Can't see anything out front. There she is down below. Again, not a big island, as you can see, but it is populated. And this chain of islands runs pretty far to the south. I mean, I think Japan has thousands of islands. There's the 5. Oh, there's some clouds. There's the 5 big ones back on the main islands, and then there's all this chain of little ones that swing down. So it's actually quite a long way. If you go all the way up into the north, up on Hokkaido in winter, that's where you see the pictures of the snow monkeys and the deep snowfall. I think there's up there you get some of the deepest snowfall in the world, several feet. And then you come all the way down to the southern end where we're heading now, and again, it's subtropical. So it can be really oppressive in the summer if you're down here, but I guess in the winter it'd be fairly nice. Alright, so we're almost up to 200 knots there. Indicated 222 as our ground speed, 52 knot headwind, quartering in there. So it's almost a 40 knot slowdown we have going on. Everything is looking good. And of course we can run through the systems, so we can bring up systems page. So it's our electrical, AC, DC, AC. Everything is looking good. It's a pressurizing thing, hydraulics. Got good pressure in the hydraulics off the electrical system, so that is good. Here's our engines. Oil pressures are looking good. Temperatures are looking good. Fuel flow is good on both sides. 335 kilograms per hour, it looks like. And the engine power settings are good. Air supply from both the regular air through the packs and the oxygen is looking good with the pressurization and temperature. 22 degrees in the back, which is nice and comfortable, of course. And there's the electrical system. Maybe inverters 1 and 2 are not on as we're not connected to the ground, but the AC and DC buses are good, and we are providing battery power and everything. And that's back to hydraulics. So there's our performance information, fuel on board, our reserve fuel factors, gross weight, all the aircraft data from takeoff. So we are all looking good. Our normal approach speed of 107. If we were in icy conditions, it'd be 116. And we are going flaps full on the approach. No miscellaneous pages. That's the cargo area. Looks good. And there is a map mode here, which doesn't really seem to do much. So there's still a couple little things, like if you look over here, fuel on board is still reading what we loaded in on the ground, even though we've burned 190 per engine now. So 380 kilograms of fuel have been burned, but it hasn't been deducted from our fuel on board, which is a little annoying. It should be doing that. But again, we know we only need about 800 kilograms of fuel to get to our destination, and we had over 2,000, so almost 3 times the fuel load that we need. Next island is coming up. Again, we pop outside. You can see it there, long, thin island. Going to come up. This is the top end of the Okinawa main island, and then we're going to make our turn out towards our intercept for the RNAV. But everything is looking good at the moment. It's interesting. There's a United Airlines 777-200 heading from Washington to Hong Kong, and he's 6,000 feet above the ground down at Okinawa. I wonder if he's had an emergency. Keep an eye on him, see where he's gone. We'll do a check of the winds. Yeah, wings are swinging around to the south. We're going to stick with runway 18. It's all looking good. So up to 4 knots, so it's slowly building. Skies are clear. 17 degrees Celsius at the moment, and 10 miles of visibility. So looking pretty good. And that was from 29 minutes ago. There's the swing. Coming up on ONC. We're going to get the rotation, and off we go to Lexus. 32 miles away, and then top of descent starts just beyond that. So let's start entering all the information in that we are going to need. We'll get the METAR and throw it into the chat. So at 2000 Zulu, again 29 minutes ago, automated forecast or weather reporting. Winds are 110 at 4. 10 kilometers of visibility. Sky is clear, no significant clouds. 17 degrees, dew points 12. QNH 1018. And that's 3008 if you're doing it the other way. Transition altitude 14,000 feet, so we'll switch over when we head there. So coming back over to our RNP. So on the LNAV VNAV, which is what we're going to be doing, we have a 430 foot minimum and we need an RVR of 1400 meters. Not an issue today. So 430 will be our decision height. We'll make sure that you're on decision height as well. And we'll start dialing that in. It is going to take a little bit. MDA's minimum descent altitudes goes up by 10, but the decision height is in actual individual feet. So we're about 35 miles from top of descent. So 430 feet. We're going to set our altitude for our descent as well. We're going to change that down to 400 feet. That'll have us keep it going down the R now. We're going to take over manual control before that though. But since we have no ATC, we can set ourselves right down. And there is 400 feet straight down. We're good there. So for the missed approach, if we have to, we're going to climb out directly. It should already be in the system to H8L51. Then we go to H8L52 and then to all val and hold it 2,000 feet. So our go around is going to be 2,000 feet. And basically we climb straight ahead to 1,200 feet or below, and at H8L51 we turn to a heading of 287 degrees. Yeah, it looks like that United Airlines is going into Okinawa. Interesting. So destination weather, we have got an obtained 1018 will be our barrel when we get there. Arrival data has been checked and is set. Nav data all matches, and it is set the way we want it to go. Radios are all set. Engine NTIs is not required. FCP is set. Landing elevation is automatic. Minimums are set 430 feet. Approach and missed approach we have briefed. All right. We're just waiting to start our descent. We're going to try to descend at 200 knots. So we'll pull the engines back. No auto throttle on this aircraft. So once we start down, we'll pull back on the engines and take her down manually. Now at Kako we have to be down at 4,000 feet. So if we, or 2,000 feet, sorry. So if we look here, if we look here, we can see this says 2,000 and above. That is actually going to be a hard 2,000. We'll execute that. And then at RICOM 12, yeah, that is good. KMG 1200, and we start down after that. We go to this one here, which should be at 246 as we cross over heading in on the RNAV. Alright, so that is all looking good. Our top of the set has shifted slightly as we kind of set that hard 2,000 there at Kuko. Okuma has no restriction cliff above 2,700. Kuko, it says above 2,000, but the RNAV says at 2,000, so we'll go for the at. And there you can see there's the main island. This is Naha, is all down on this end in the south, and we're going to be flying down alongside, and then we'll cut across this little bit here and then come in for the airport for the landing. Another little island we're going past. And we can start to make out the main cities down there through that little bit of cloud. Miles. We're going to go into VNAV when we get to Lexus. Let them know we're about to pull power and head downhill. There's the marker. Come on, switch over. Not sure why she's not switching. Be heading downwards. There we go. It sometimes takes a second. Alright, so we're going to try to hold that 200. There's 16.5. Dial in the 116.5. And enter that here in my nav 1. There's 50 miles to the airport. Speed's getting up a little bit, so we'll pull back. Again, holding her in that 200, give or take. Again, manual throttles, and there's a spot when you go from manual power to idle, it just drops right off, which is rather annoying. So I tend to keep one in idle and one in manual, and that seems to hold the speed on these descents. Okay, yeah, it looks like that United's on the ground at Okinawa. So he must have had an emergency. We'll start making our calls when we reach Okuma, the entry into the arrival. So that's, let's see, 14,000 feet. We can set the barrel. We're going to go to 1018. Because there's kind of like 3 little notches for each one. 3008 is a good cross reference, and they gave us that in the remarks. So that is now set, and are you still on standard on your side? But it has changed. So another little glitch with the aircraft. There's that little section of land that sticks out. We're going to hit that turn slightly to the left with a southwesterly heading. As we come down, still a few clouds in the area, but nothing major. There's that speed creeping again. Bring that down. Again, we're aiming for 2,000 feet at Kyushu, and then we'll fly in at that until we drop to 1,200 for RICOM. You can see we're crabbing a bit. We got that wind to deal with. That moon coming up. Still no light on the horizon, which is a bit of a shame. Would have been nice to start seeing the morning sun, but it is what it is. Let's pull that power back. Keep it around that 200. She'll slow down fairly quickly when we bring the power back on the engines, but I want to keep it up so we're not out here loitering. Keep it around that 200. Pablo Air, hello. How are you doing today?
Gentlemen, the flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seat.
There's 10,000 feet. So we'll get the landing lights on. Logo, wing lights, and
we have begun our final descent into your destination.
Seatbelt signs are on now.
Passengers and cabin select any track one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat premises.
Alright, 194 knots. We're doing good. We're coming down through 9,300. Again, this is an RNAV, not an ILS, so we don't have to worry about tuning in the frequencies and courses and stuff like that. Nice little bit of moonlight on the water, but that moon is going to disappear in a second. As, well, in a day or two. is a waning moon. Zoom in a little bit more. Naha area traffic, Skyways 5556, passing Okuma, descending through 8,600 inbound for the RNAV, runway 18 left, Naha. Right, we are 31 miles away from the airport. As we approach Kuko, we'll slow down to about 170, and that will let us get the first notch of flaps out. There's almost 700 kilos of fuel used. It said we were going to use about just over 800, so not too bad on the estimate. Okinawa is a very thin island, the main island, except for that little bottom end where all the built-up area is, the population. It's also where the old, or I think the current U.S. Air Force base is. Watching that speed. Keep it around that 200 mark. After cliff, we will begin to slow her down slightly. A little bit of cloud in the area, but nothing that's going to cause any issues. It's all low and pretty broken and scattered. Not concerned with icing or anything. The airport's 25 miles away. And once again, scenery is freeware scenery. Got it off of flightsim.to. Not all of them are high quality, but some of them are. You can really enhance your flying experiences if you use it, and it doesn't cost you anything. A lot of the airports I fly in and out of are flightsim.to airports. Some are payware and are very, very good, but for a lot of the smaller airports, like there's guys that are doing all these Japanese airports. Almost everyone I've flown to here on this tour, as we've bopped from north to south in Japan, have been off flightsim.to, and they just add that little individuality with the signage and ramp markings and all that type of stuff. The airport's just behind the pillar there. And we're going to start bringing that speed down now to about 170. 21 miles out. And once we make the turn, we can go into approach mode. Or as we come up to the turn anyway. 6 miles out. Here's 170. First notch of flaps going in. Bring the power up now to deal with that. We're going to keep the speed at about 160 to 170. continue to descend here. Below 150, we'll go flaps full. We'll do that a bit closer. We're already slowing down quite a lot. There's the airport. We're landing on 18 left, which will be the left one that we are seeing there. Alright, we're coming up, so we will go approach. Final path on VNAV is active. We have lateral and vertical deviation markers in. So everything is looking good. Descending down to 2,000 feet. Hovering around that 170 marks. Hi, Joe. Oh, thank you. Hope it helps. Hope you enjoy. Try to do what I can. I've got a little bit of experience in real life flying, you know, small GA airplanes and stuff, but a lot of it does translate over and stuff. And the flying community is absolutely awesome, and I enjoy helping people with it and getting involved in it. And if you're flight simming as well, like, it's an amazing thing to be doing, and it's a great hobby, and there's great people involved in it. Alright, so there's our turn. We seem to be set up on the right one. No, we're gonna, looks like we kick back over. Alright. Get that speed back up. 160. Just gonna quickly pop here. Huh. Well, we'll see which one it takes us in on. I'm sure I put in left. It's kind of showing left on the diagram there. Heading indicated. We're still on our VNAV path, not our final approach, so that's good. A little bit of a flight in. You can see the two runways there. So we're going to be the second runway. The right hand runway is the one out on the water in the lake. The left hand is right on the edge of the shore, which is fine. We're going to be landing. We'll be exiting off to the left, probably down around Echo 6, and then we'll be taxiing up. From there, so speed's around 160. We're coming down. We want to be 1200 soon, but we're still on the vertical deviation indicators. Yeah, we're heading out to the other one. So we're going to be coming down within about 10 miles. We'll bring the speed down to about 120, and then we'll slow it down to our landing speed. Approach speed of about 110, and we want to touch down about 103, 104. Hey Joe, yeah, great. Well, I was never a pilot by trade. I just did it. I love aviation. Did it for fun. Put myself through it later in life, and got my license. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, and quite a challenging experience. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm streaming several times a week on different types of aircraft in different places around the world. So you're more than welcome to come along. If you come to our Discord, there's a link in the description. You can find out what, when, and where we were flying. And if you have any questions, more than willing to answer. All right, we're working our way down. To that 1,200 feet. That was going to go to 400. That's fine. And we're under 10 miles out, so we're going to come in now. We're going to turn on the landing lights or the taxi light, because the landing lights just don't give me enough. We will ding the cabin, just let them know we are almost there. Reset ourselves. We'll bring that speed below 150, and we'll get the flaps coming out. Still on LNAV VNAV path. Should be our turn inbound now, lining up. There we go. Speed's down to 149, 148. Full flaps for landing. - 1,200 feet above the ground. Technically above the water at the moment. Speed to about 120, gear down, 7 miles. Alright, power management set to take off. Let's get that over. Flaps are required. Approach mode is armed, glide slope is live, gear down, flaps set for landing, go around altitude of 2,000 feet. Set yet, we'll do that after. Parking brake is confirmed off. Autopilot will come off at 500, as I usually do. About 113, and we're on V path. There's our final path. So we'll set 2,000 for the go around. And in we go. So gear down, 3 green, flaps full, cabin is notified, lights are on, no cautions, runways in sight, no aircraft on the runway, and aircraft is stable. Dealing with a slight pushing wind out of the left front. But we're on course. Bit of mechanical turbulence coming off of the land. That's the air is being bumped around by the hills and the buildings and everything. You can see us bopping around a little bit. Speed's about 120. Good. 1,000 feet. Set up here. Get that speed back now. I have control. So we get ourselves lined up a little bit.
Height 500.
It's 120.
Decision height.
Continue. It's 114, 113, 110, 109,
200.
108.
100. Don't sink.
105, 104, that's our ref.
40, 30, 20, 10.
It's down. Reverser's full, nose is pinned. Drifted off the center line a little bit. Purser's disengaged.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 5:01 a.m. and it's currently about 80 degrees Celsius.
We've passed Echo 5, should be Echo 6 coming up, which is the one we want.
Traffic comes to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead.
We're going to head up to the domestic terminal, which we just kind of rolled past.
Thank you for flying with us, and we hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, that one we can't do. That's a high speed the other way. There we go. Echo 6 is the one we want. It's going to be a hard left, and then we're going to take Alpha all the way back to the gate. Naha area traffic, Skyways 5556, clear runway 18 left at Echo 6, taxiing via Alpha to gate. Taxiing to gate 26, Alpha, Charlie 1, and 26. Alright, let's see if I can get 26. 16 gates. 26, thank you. No, I don't need to follow me. Yeah, ANA can do it. Alright, so let's get the flaps up. Landing lights are off, strobe lights are off. Wing and logo lights can stay on. Come down to our transponder. That's fine. To standby, weather radar can go off. And we can taxi in. Alright. Okay, so at this point, normally in twin-engine turboprop operations, the Dash 8s and the ATRs, they'd shut off one engine and do a single-engine taxi-in. Problem I have with that in this model is that the it gets kind of uncontrollable on the ground. So we'll just leave both engines running until we get up to where we're headed, which is up here at the terminal. United was still showing here somewhere. Says he's going to be departing here and heading to Hong Kong. He's still around here somewhere. Might be able to see him. Alright, we're on Alpha 5. This is one of those airports where they segment their taxiways, so Alpha 5, then the next section Alpha 4, Alpha 3, Alpha 2, as you go between other taxiways, which is a little bit confusing. It's all good. So it was a good flight down, and there's a control tower there. So again, this is a freeware airport scenery to help improve the experience. We still got a couple lakes to go. Okinawa's not as far south as we're heading. We're going right down to the southernmost tip on the southernmost island we can fly into. So we've got a couple more flights to go with that. And the next Japan flight will be on Friday. But we're back tomorrow as we continue our tour of Canada in the 737-700s. We'll be leaving St. John, Newfoundland, and flying down to Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. and that will be in the Air Canada 737-700, which they don't actually fly, but we're making do with that fictitiously. All right, there's the weather office, and it's even got the weather radar dome on top of it. That is nicely done. Oh, there's the guy that came in, and he's over at the international terminal. That's the United. We're going to be coming in behind him and parking at, what did I say? Gate 26. So that's he's flying from Washington to Hong Kong, and looks like he diverted here. Yeah, there's spot 24. We're going to take the next right, and spot 26. There's spot 25. We're going over here into spot 26, and we can see the ground crew already there waiting for us. Here we are, spot 26. So we'll kill our taxi lights so we don't blind them. Start heading in. Making sure we're keeping the power up slightly, so I got my hydraulics. And there we are. Welcome to Okinawa. Parking brake on. Power up on those engines slightly. There we go. And we're good to hook up. So we'll get them to come down here. Ground power and wheel chocks are in. Then we can do our shutdown. So condition levers will come back to FTR. Low idle position. And start to cool down. Prop brake not required. We're going to shut them down completely. So there goes engine 2 and engine 1. Get the external power up and going. Don't know why I'm hearing gang. Oh, he's dancing. I must have done a perfect landing. Nice. First time I've seen that, actually. Oh, and he just bowed to me as well. Very nice. All right, so we'll get the wing lights off. Local can stay on. Our nav can stay on. Beacon is off. External power is connected and on. Seatbelt signs are now off. Engines are down. Fuel pumps are off now on both sides. Oxygen will come off. Flight directors are fine. They can pop the doors. There we go. Cargo door is open and we can begin deboarding.
The boarding requested.
All right. So while they start that underway, and Molly's banging away out there, thank you very much for coming along and flying with us. Do appreciate it. If you want to see more, come over to the Discord. Links are in the description below. And we'll be back tomorrow, 1930 Zulu, as we fly around Canada. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.